And don't watch MasterChef. That's rubbish. Watch Anthony Bourdain. Shows like him, people that go around supporting, praising, rejoicing other people's qualities and other people's talents and diversity, rather than putting them in the corner, making them cry, making them bitch, and winding them up and abusing them. And don't.
You're not a big fan of Gordon Ramsay, are you?
Oh no, Gordon Ramsay. I've got a great deal of respect for him. I think his unfortunate aspect of being typecast into this animal is quite destructive. And I think if you actually note now, he's moving away from that. He's a pretty awesome chef. And I think in the early days, though, when he was at Aubergine and he was fighting for Michelin stars, he was an animal. He was an absolute animal. But I've also worked with some people that have worked with him and said he was awesome. But people don't want to see awesome. They want to see animal. And that's a really sad trait in human nature, where they want to see, someone
viewership, isn't it?
Rather than somebody being praised or given constructive criticism. They want to see somebody like throw it into the rubbish bin, get out,
So how much of the reality TV show is accurate depiction of the career of a chef?
Not much, in my opinion. Not much. I really cringe when I see some of those shows. I mean, when you start, the minute you put the word reality, it means contrived. It means scripted. It means forced. It means unnatural. And it means, what can we do to, like something will happen. They'll burn each other like, dun, dun, dun. You see, it's pathetic. It's just absolute rubbish. So I don't think any of it's true. I don't think if you behave like that in the kitchen, you get punched in eventually. You're going to get, I mean, I worked with some pretty aggressive people in my time, but, eventually you leave. If it's not an environment you want to be in, I mean, it can be hostile enough without having somebody who's just, stressing out and expounding negative energy unnecessarily. There's times when you have to be to the point, say, Shaun, quick now. You have to cut through everything and just you're down to the basics. This. But you can do it in a way where people are like, yes, chef, they understand what it is. And then afterwards you come up and praise them, hey, great job. Thank you so much. And, people they don't feel scared, because if you scare people, if they're under feeling stressed, you're not going to get the best work out of them. I've been in times where you're just so worried about putting stuff on the plate. Is it good? Is it right? Is it not right? Perhaps I wasn't shown that clearly. Perhaps I didn't know. Perhaps I was a junior. All of these things. But you need to... Oh, and something my father taught me: praise in public, discipline in private. It's the absolute opposite of what happens on these reality shows. It's like, put him in a circle, throw tomatoes at him, tell him he's rubbish.
There's one thing that's very important that you mentioned just now, which is not getting into the industry for the wrong reason. And we both spoke about the wrong reason being for fame, for the money, because of the reality TV generation, because of the Instagram generation, that it's almost an ego trip to be called a chef. And you were warning against it in our previous conversation. I'd like you to touch on this before we say goodbye.
Yeah, well, Shaun, you're certainly preaching to the choir. We do see some of that here. It's not too much. I mean, you see some of it, but I think, especially in the early days, we quashed it. We all are on the same level. We meet regularly. We talk about what's going on. We talk about certain students. I am all for somebody that has a dream and vision and wants something, and our job is to get them there. That's what our job is, and we take it very seriously, and that's our role. We do it every day. But you just need to understand what it takes to be there, and we all do our best to not over promise, or not in terms of ourselves, but in terms of what the expectations will be. Nobody's going to leave here and become a sous chef. Nobody's going to leave here, in the next 3 to 6 months and be, know, but I mean, there's a lot of potential, and they're on that pathway. I'm not saying they're not going to. I'm saying that it's not going to happen next year, but it will happen for some of these students. And I can't wait to see. We're already seeing these kids develop. It's great. It's so good to see. Like when we started in the early days, it was me and Simon Lynch right back then, and we were Johnny on the spot. Do this, do that. We were doing breakfast. We were running around and we're organising for all the events. And now it's like, you know, Akma, here's a recipe, cake, 1 hour. You know, you come here, I say, you know, give them a recipe and you just coach them. And now they have developing some skills. We're able to leverage that. It's a beautiful thing to see. We're doing events. We did an event for the Prototype Commissioner recently. And the level 1 students prepared food. We certainly coached them, but it was you know, it's really lovely to see that.
What I'm hearing, Chef, is that there's nothing wrong with aspiring to be a celebrity chef one day.
There's something wrong with it.
But you know, there's everything wrong to be expecting it to happen overnight.
Listen,
it takes decades.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Gordon Ramsay, Macann White. It's not going to happen. You know, you have to do your due diligence. If you have talent and you have luck and it happens, it'll happen in spite of itself. But don't see that as the goal. You know, see it as a possibility, but you're going to work towards it, and you don't know when it's going to happen, and it might not happen. So just be prepared. But if you enjoy what you're doing anyway, if you're a cook, if you're a chef, you won't be disappointed. You'll be happy to do it anyway. If you get a bit of fame or you become a bit wealthy or whatever, then that's great. It's a bonus. But don't expect that as to be the ceiling. Expect that as to be a possibility.
You know, Chef Macann, what I enjoy the most about talking to you is how little it resonates with talking to a professor or an institute leader. But, you know, it's every bit as much a street smart kind of guy that I'm talking to. And I really enjoy, you know, listening and learning all the real life nuggets from you. And, you know, I think that your students.
That's what happens when you've been in the industry for a few years. But I'm at the point now where I just try to share those stories with my team and with the students for benefit for them. And that's my job.
I wanted to thank you for the gift of knowledge to our audience tonight, and more importantly, you know, for bringing yourself into Brunei and teach our young kids the wonderful career of the culinary career. And you know, in case no one is thanking you enough, you know, heartfelt appreciation here.